Tonight, a single whisper unlocks the machinery behind matter. Hear it once, and the floor of probability tilts toward you. Doubt loosens, doors unlatch. The hidden switches of fate click in sequence, and the world, startled and obedient, turns to face you without looking away. Since the first dreamer stared into the dark and felt the dark stare back, a rumor has traveled through time. There is a sound that persuades reality. Not a chant, not a spell, but an arrangement of meaning that wakes the sleeping gears beneath appearances. Hear it, and outcomes soften. Speak with it, and events reorganize like iron filings around a hidden magnet. This book is a map to that arrangement. You will not be asked to believe blindly. You will be invited to listen differently, because the universe is not only matter, it is attention, rhythm, and relationship. Every night, your breath conducts constellations of memory. Every morning, your choices tune the day like strings. Between those thresholds is the narrow door where change enters, the moment of hearing. Once you hear this, truly hear, it doesn't roar, it rearranges. Resistance untangles. Coincidences arrive on schedule. The frightened part of you stops bargaining with limitation and remembers its original license to create. Old stories drop their disguises, new permissions assemble. This is not escape, it is authorship. Inside these chapters, you'll learn to prime your nervous system, seed your subconscious, and speak to the field that bends probabilities. You will reframe doubt as fuel, convert emotion into instruction, and install rituals that turn midnight into machinery. You will also become responsible for what answers you call. Approach with reverence and play. Keep a pen near your pillow. Keep a promise near your tongue. Keep room in your calendar for miracles shaped like ordinary hours. If you have ever felt the world almost turn toward you, almost, this is where almost ends. Begin anywhere. A breath counted backward, a question written, a glass of water placed like an oath. Begin here, begin now. Listen once and let the listening keep listening on your behalf. Chapter 1. The Threshold Note. There are moments when reality seems to shiver, as though something just beneath its surface has stirred in recognition. You've felt it before, the uncanny timing of a phone call, just as you think of someone, the phrase you needed appearing in a book. You opened at random, the sudden quiet in the air before something important happens. These are not accidents. They are glimpses of a hidden frequency, the threshold note. It is the first sound, not of music, but of alignment. The ancients knew of it, though they named it in whispers, afraid it would slip from their grasp if spoken too loudly. They described it as a vibration beneath all other sounds, a subtle pulse that carries through stone, flesh, and thought. When you learn to recognize it, you realize it has been with you all along, brushing against the edges of your awareness, waiting for you to listen differently. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast ocean at night. You cannot see its depth, but you can hear the waves, steady and eternal. The threshold note is like that ocean's rhythm, an undercurrent behind every event, every thought, every possibility. When you attune to it, you gain the ability to slip into that undercurrent, to ride the tide where you choose instead of being thrown by its waves. This is not about volume. The threshold note is silent to ordinary ears. It is perceived through a shift in perception, a quieting of the restless mind, so the deeper hum of existence can be heard. You don't seek it with effort. You allow it with surrender. The first step is silence, the kind that comes not from absence of sound, but from the stilling of your inner noise. Close your eyes and breathe. Behind your thoughts, beneath the chatter, notice what remains, that faint vibration you sense when words fall away. That is the threshold note. It is the signal that you are standing at the doorway between ordinary perception and extraordinary influence. When you hear it, even for a second, reality begins to bend. You will notice subtle shifts, people leaning in as though expecting your words before you speak, events arranging themselves with uncanny precision, resistance loosening as if the world itself remembers your authority. This is not imagination. This is the first doorway into authorship of reality. But there is responsibility here. The threshold note will not answer to reckless will. It responds to sincerity, to clarity of desire, to the purity of intent carried in your voice and thought. When you enter this state with greed or fear, the results tangle, echoing your turmoil. When you enter with reverence, the world becomes pliable, ready to shape itself to your chosen design. So tonight, do not rush. Instead, breathe into silence. Feel for the faint hum that lingers when your thoughts grow still. When you touch it, do nothing more at first. Simply listen. The universe has waited lifetimes for you to notice this sound, and once you hear it, reality itself leans closer, waiting for what you will say. Chapter 2. How Matter Hears You. To believe that matter is deaf is to misunderstand the universe. Everything listens. The air listens to your sighs, carrying them further than you imagine. The water in your body listens to your mood, arranging its molecules in response to your emotions. Even stone, still and unmoving, listens. It records the pressure of your touch, the vibration of your footsteps, the frequency of your words. What we call reality is not solid, but responsive. Science whispers this truth through quantum experiments that reveal how observation itself alters outcomes. Mystics sang this truth for ages. What you see, sees you. Matter does not simply exist, it responds, and it responds most strongly to the consistency of your signal. Think of a field of grass beneath the wind. A single gust bends it one way, but when the wind continues, the grass aligns with it. Your thoughts, words, and emotions are that wind. One passing wish is a breeze. A sustained belief is a storm. Matter bends not to sudden command, but to repeated intention. This is why what you fear often seems to arrive, because fear, rehearsed night after night, is a consistent signal. To bend reality, you must learn to send signals as steady as a lighthouse beam. Not desperate, not scattered, not conflicted, but coherent. Every doubt is like static in your transmission. Every contradiction weakens the current. But when your desire, emotion, and belief align, matter itself hears you as clearly as a bell ringing across the sea. The threshold note. You heard before is the doorway. This is the voice you carry into it. When you combine them, reality listens without resistance. It bends because bending is its nature. The baker who dreams of success while kneading his dough, the artist who whispers abundance into her pillow, the weary soul who breathes gratitude before sleep, they all become broadcasters. Their lives reorganize, not by chance, but because the matter around them heard and responded. Remember this. The universe is not a machine you must force. It is a living field, eager to echo your frequency. Train yourself to broadcast not with sporadic hope, but with steady certainty. Matter is always listening. What will you teach it to hear? Chapter 3. Breath as Metronome. Before words, before thoughts, before desires, there is breath. It is the first agreement you make with existence. Inhale and life enters. Exhale and you return it. This rhythm is older than language, older than memory, older than stars. To master your breath is to master the metronome of creation. Every manifestation practice, no matter how adorned with symbols and rituals, begins here. For breath is the bridge between conscious will and subconscious programming. It is the lever that steadies the nervous system, lowers resistance, and opens the gate where suggestion slips in unchallenged. If your breath is shallow, rushed, or tangled, your commands scatter. If your breath is deep, slow, rhythmic, your commands land with weight. Close your eyes now. Inhale to a count of 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, pause for 4. This square of breath does not only calm the body, it trains the mind to steady itself. Each breath is a measure of music, and your thoughts, riding on its rhythm, find coherence. This is why monks chant with long exhalations, why sages speak slowly, why rituals begin with silence and breath. They are tuning their instrument. Think of breath as the conductor of your inner orchestra. Without rhythm, instruments clash. Even if each plays beautifully, with rhythm, they merge into harmony. Your desires, emotions, and intentions are the instruments. Breath is what unifies them into a song that reality can hear. When you breathe with awareness, your body shifts into a state of receptivity. The brain's waves slow, doubt softens, the subconscious opens like fertile soil. In this soil, your whispered intention is no longer fragile. It is a seed planted in perfect rhythm with the heartbeat of the universe. Every night before you speak your desires, breathe them into rhythm. Let your breath carry your words like a tide carries driftwood, pulling them into deeper waters. For it is not force that makes reality bend. It is rhythm. Breath is the metronome. Reality keeps time with you. Chapter 4. The Consent of Possibility. Creation does not bloom from force. The universe, vast and ancient, will not be bullied into compliance. It does not respond to clenched fists or desperate bargains. It responds to invitation. The consent of possibility is the forgotten art of asking without strain, of beckoning reality the way one might extend a hand toward a shy animal. It is gentle and it is precise. Most people unknowingly sabotage themselves by begging. Their prayers, affirmations, and intentions are thick with resistance. "Please let this happen," they whisper, as if reality were an enemy that must be persuaded. But the truth is subtler. Reality already longs to answer. It waits only for a clear channel uncluttered by pressure, fear, or disbelief. Consent is that channel. Think of water. You cannot order a river to flow, but you can dig a channel for it. You create the shape, and the river obeys, not because you forced it, but because you made space for it to move. Consent is that channel carved in the soil of your subconscious. When you say, "I am ready," and release the outcome to arrive in its own timing, you are granting reality the freedom it requires to cooperate. This is why surrender is not weakness. It is the greatest strength. To surrender is not to give up. It is to give space. When you relax your grip, possibility floods in. The merchant who clung to every detail of his failing trade found no relief until he stepped outside one evening, exhaled into the night air, and said simply, "Show me a better way." Within days, a chance meeting provided him an unexpected partnership. His business revived not because he forced it, but because he invited it. Consent works in silence. It begins with words like, "I allow," "I welcome," "I am open to." These phrases are not commands, they are permissions. When spoken with sincerity, they shift your inner landscape from a battlefield into a garden. In that garden, seeds grow because the soil welcomes them, not because the gardener yells at them to sprout. The consent of possibility also requires trust. You may not see how reality reorganizes itself in the invisible. You may not know why one door closes before another opens. But when you release the demand for control and replace it with permission, the unfolding becomes smooth. Every seeming obstacle is revealed as a redirection toward alignment. Tonight, as you lie in bed, place your hand upon your chest. Inhale deeply, whisper softly, "I allow good to come to me. I welcome clarity. I am open to miracles." Do not force belief. Simply let the words hover like lanterns in the dark. The universe hears them. More importantly, your own subconscious hears them and loosens its grip on old resistance. Creation is not a conquest. It is a courtship, and reality says yes most freely when asked with reverence. Give it your consent. Offer it space. Then watch how swiftly it bends. Chapter 5. Signals Before Sleep. There is a doorway that opens only once each day. It appears not at sunrise nor at noon, but in the quiet minutes before your descent into dreams. In those moments, your conscious mind loosens its grip, and your subconscious, vast, powerful, obedient, stands waiting, fertile as freshly turned earth. What you send into this space takes root with unmatched potency. These are the signals before sleep. You know this doorway instinctively. Recall the times when worry carried you into bed. Did you not wake tangled in the same dread, circumstances repeating like echoes? Or the nights you fell asleep replaying gratitude for a small kindness, only to find the next day littered with similar blessings? The state before sleep imprints itself onto reality with uncanny precision. Your brain waves reveal the secret. As wakefulness dissolves into rest, your mind descends from the rapid currents of beta into the slower streams of alpha and theta. These frequencies are the language of suggestion, the same state used in hypnosis and deep meditation. In this state, the subconscious no longer questions. It accepts. Whatever you present in those final minutes becomes its blueprint for the coming hours and days. The ancients crafted rituals to honor this threshold. A candle lit, a sentence whispered, a symbol placed beneath the pillow. All were signals, deliberate transmissions to the deeper self. The seamstress who repeated her grandmother's affirmations, the baker who visualized his shop full of joy, both unconsciously practiced this art. Their lives bent not because they labored harder, but because their last waking thoughts became architecture for their tomorrows. To harness this, simplicity is key. 3 gratitudes, 3 intentions, spoken slowly with breath as their carrier. I am thankful for this day. I am thankful for love. I am thankful for rest. Then I am becoming prosperous. I am becoming joyful. I am becoming free. Spoken with the softness of truth, not the hardness of command. The subconscious loves repetition. Each night the same words deepen their roots until reality itself begins to echo them back. The artist who whispered, "My work touches hearts," found her canvases suddenly desired. The merchant who wrote intentions by hand discovered opportunity knocking. Their signals before sleep became instructions to matter. Tonight, make no elaborate effort. As you lay your head down, breathe and choose the last thought carefully. Place it on the doorstep of your subconscious like a sealed letter. By morning, the letter will be opened, its message delivered to the universe. This is the power of signals before sleep. Chapter 6. The Quiet Architecture. The mind is not the only builder of reality. The walls that surround you, the air you breathe, the colors that soak into your eyes, all participate. Space is not passive. Your room is not neutral. Every object, every scent, every shadow becomes part of the architecture that either amplifies your desires or drowns them in static. The quiet architecture is the design of environment as ally. Imagine 2 chambers. In one, clutter piles in corners. Memories of failure linger in photographs. Stale air holds unspoken heaviness. Sleep here and your subconscious receives a chorus of contradiction. It hears lack, loss, delay. In the other chamber, space is clear, objects chosen with care, light softened into warmth. Symbols of prosperity gleam quietly. Sleep here and your subconscious receives a chorus of affirmation. It hears abundance, renewal, possibility. You already know how rooms speak. Recall the peace of a temple, the hush of a library, the tension of a hospital corridor. Each space carries an energy that imprints itself upon you. Your bedroom, the place of nightly surrender, is the most influential of all. To neglect its energy is to scatter your programming. To cultivate it is to supercharge your manifestation. Begin simply. Remove what no longer serves. Objects of past grief, reminders of failure, clutter that breeds confusion. Clear them without hesitation. Then introduce 3 anchors. One object symbolizing wealth, one symbolizing love, one symbolizing spiritual connection. Place them where your eyes rest before sleep. These become silent teachers, broadcasting their meaning to your subconscious all night. Colors matter. Soft blues calm, rich purples invite mystery. Golds awaken abundance. Scents matter too. Lavender eases the threshold. Vanilla whispers of sweetness. Frankincense expands perception. Even sound matters. A gentle hum, a distant bell, or silence itself. All sculpt the atmosphere your subconscious absorbs. The merchant who replaced relics of his losses with symbols of prosperity found his fortune shifting within weeks, not by coincidence, but because his subconscious no longer rehearsed defeat. The artist who lit a single candle before bed discovered her nights filled with visions of creation, her mornings rich with ideas. Their spaces became allies. Tonight, stand in your doorway and look with new eyes. Feel the room's story. Ask, does this space echo what I desire, or does it contradict me? Then reshape it, not with extravagance, but with intention. For every night, your subconscious listens to the architecture that surrounds you. It is quiet, but it is constant. And constant whispers shape the loudest realities. Chapter 7. The Moonlight Manifestation Method. The ancients never doubted the moon's pull. They saw its rhythm not only in the rise and fall of tides, but in the flux of their own inner worlds. Farmers planted by its glow, lovers confessed beneath its fullness, mystics wrote in its shadows, and they knew what we often forget. Your subconscious is tuned to lunar rhythms like an instrument to its player. The Moonlight Manifestation Method is the art of synchronizing your intentions with these cycles, harnessing celestial tides to bend reality with greater ease. Consider the phases. The new moon is emptiness, a blank page. It invites seeds of intention. In this phase, your subconscious is most fertile, longing for instruction, ready to cradle fresh desires. To whisper a new wish during this time is to drop a pearl into deep water where it will be cradled, hidden, and nurtured. As the moon waxes, intentions gather strength. The subconscious builds momentum. This is the time to visualize growth, to nourish your desires with steady repetition, to act as though the invisible has already taken root. Like shoots breaking the soil, what you have planted strains toward light. The full moon is amplification. Energy peaks, emotion swells, the veil thins. It is here that manifestation surges outward, magnified, projected into the world with uncommon clarity. To meditate beneath a full moon, or even to imagine its silver glow flooding your room, is to supercharge your intention with a cosmic amplifier. Then comes the waning phase, release. Here the subconscious lets go of what no longer serves, clearing space for new growth. Old patterns dissolve with ease, endings occur naturally, resistance weakens. To surrender outdated beliefs during a waning moon is to float them downstream on a current that already flows away. The watchmaker Eugene noticed this rhythm. At first, it seemed coincidence. Goals set on new moons manifested with uncanny speed, while struggles often resolved themselves during waning phases. But with careful observation, he realized he was witnessing cosmic cooperation. He began aligning his nightly rituals with lunar phases, writing intentions at new moons, visualizing abundance as the moon waxed, celebrating fulfillment at full moons, and releasing blocks during waning. Within one cycle, his failing shop flourished. Customers arrived as though magnetized, opportunities multiplied, and his inner clarity sharpened. You need not stand beneath the sky to engage this method. The subconscious responds to rhythm, not distance. a lunar calendar, a memory of the moon's glow, even a drawing pinned near your bed, all suffice to tune your awareness to its cycles. Each night before sleep, acknowledge the phase, align your ritual accordingly. Whisper new beginnings, amplify growth, celebrate abundance, or release resistance. Let your subconscious ride the tide already in motion, for the universe favors harmony. To swim against its rhythms is exhausting. To join them is effortless. And when your subconscious, tuned by intention, breath, and ritual, aligns with the moon's eternal dance, reality bends like water beneath its pull. Chapter 8: The Slumber Sanctuary. A bedroom is never just a room. It is a temple disguised as ordinary space, a chamber where creation is rehearsed nightly in silence. Every wall, every shadow, every object speaks, whether you listen or not. And the messages they send seep into your subconscious like dye into fabric. The slumber sanctuary is the recognition that your sleeping space is not decoration, it is instruction. Pearl understood this truth by accident. In her modest cottage, she placed a silk scarf over her lamp one evening, softening the light into gold. That simple glow altered her mood, quieted her thoughts, and signaled to her subconscious that night had become sacred. Soon she found herself sleeping more deeply, waking more inspired, her desires unfolding with new ease. She realized she had stumbled onto a principle. Physical environment is not passive, but participatory. Your bedroom is the last space your eyes see and the last atmosphere your body absorbs before surrendering to sleep. If it hums with clutter, unresolved energy, or echoes of failure, your subconscious inhales confusion. But if it is curated with care, symbols of abundance, colors of serenity, scents of expansion, it becomes a silent ally. Every detail matters. Colors whisper to your deeper mind. Blues calm, purples invite mystery, greens assure growth. Scents bypass thought entirely, slipping directly into your subconscious. Lavender lulls, sandalwood deepens meditation, vanilla warms abundance. Sound too, whether silence, a hum, or a gentle melody, becomes the background frequency against which your dreams write themselves. Clarence, once surrounded by reminders of his financial losses, discovered this painfully. His room carried the weight of the past. Unpaid bills stacked on a dresser, broken objects he refused to discard, dark corners filled with dust. Each night his subconscious rehearsed lack. When he finally replaced those relics with tokens of prosperity, a coin beneath his pillow, a crystal gleaming in moonlight, his fortune reversed. His room began telling a new story, and his mind listened. You can create the same. Begin with removal. Anything that carries grief, shame, or lack must leave. Then introduce anchors, 3 symbols of your deepest desires, placed where your eyes naturally fall before sleep. Cleanse the space regularly with incense, music, or simple intention. Each night, touch these symbols before lying down. Acknowledge them not as wishes, but as realities already forming. The slumber sanctuary is not about luxury, it is about resonance. Even the humblest room can become a chamber of transformation when curated with purpose, for your subconscious listens to the architecture of space as faithfully as it listens to your words. Each night, your bedroom imprints itself upon your sleeping mind. Make it a sanctuary, and it will carry your intentions like silent allies into the dream field where reality is shaped. Chapter 9: The Whispered Wishes Technique. There is a secret to the voice. Long before ink, before written affirmations, before journals beneath pillows, there was only breath and sound. Words spoken aloud carry power because they vibrate. They move air. They ripple across space and pierce into the waiting subconscious. The Whispered Wishes Technique revives this forgotten power. to speak softly into the night, planting desires with breath as their carrier. Beatrice discovered it in solitude. Her cottage, perched in a mountain village, was silent but for the wind. Each night she found herself murmuring her longings into the darkness, almost absent-mindedly. To her surprise, those longings began appearing in her waking life. Opportunities materialized. Strangers echoed her words. Paths opened. She realized that the act of whispering had unlocked a channel. Her voice softened into twilight, bypassed doubt, and entered the fertile soil of her subconscious unchallenged. Sound is unique among mediums. Where images fade when the eyes close, sound continues. The subconscious receives it without defense, absorbing rhythm and tone even during deep sleep. This is why lullabies soothe children and chants shift awareness. The body itself is a resonant chamber, and your own voice is its most intimate instrument. Mortimer, a humble clockmaker, stumbled on this truth when insomnia plagued him. Out of restlessness, he began recording himself speaking intentions of success and playing them as he drifted toward sleep. His days began to bend around those words. Orders increased, recognition grew, and he felt carried by an unseen momentum. His whispers had become blueprints. The technique is simple. As you lie in bed, approach the edge of sleep. Choose 3 desires. Speak them softly, as though telling them to the night itself. Let your breath carry them. Do not shout, do not strain. Whisper, and trust the silence to absorb them. If you wish, record your whispers and let them play faintly through the night, seeding your subconscious with their rhythm. Your words need not be elaborate. I am loved. I am prosperous. I am free. Spoken softly, they vibrate through your body, resonate in your chest, and echo through the subconscious chambers long after sleep claims you. The universe listens most intently to quiet sincerity. It is not the volume that matters, but the vibration. Whisper, and you will find that the world begins whispering back. Through coincidences, opportunities, and the gentle unfolding of your desires. For reality is tuned to the voice of its dreamer, and when you whisper wishes at the threshold of sleep, reality bends its ear closer, eager to obey. Chapter 10. The Stairway to Subconscious Success. The mind is not flat ground. It is a vast structure layered like the earth, descending deeper and deeper into chambers of power. Most drift only on the surface floor, pacing through familiar thoughts, circling old worries, rehearsing the same tired stories. But beneath these surface halls lies an entire architecture of transformation, and the entrance is nearer than you think. It appears each night as you surrender to sleep, and if you know the path, you can descend deliberately. The stairway to subconscious success is that path. Edith, a weaver, knew this without naming it. Frustrated by her own creative stagnation, she began imagining herself walking down a golden staircase before bed. With each step, she felt her mind soften, her breath deepen, her thoughts quiet. By the time she reached the imagined bottom, she found herself in a lush garden where ideas bloomed with effortless clarity. Soon her weaving transformed. Colors once elusive revealed themselves in her dreams, and her waking work carried a new brilliance. She had discovered that her subconscious was waiting just below, ready to open once she found the stairs. The practice begins with breath. As you lie in bed, close your eyes and slow your breathing. Then imagine before you a staircase carved from golden light. Each step glows softly, inviting you downward. Begin counting backward from 10. With each number, take 1 step. 10. Your mind grows quieter. 9. Your breath steadies. 8. Your muscles soften. 7. The weight of the day dissolves. 6. You sink deeper. 5. Peace surrounds you. 4. Time slows. 3. Awareness turns inward. 2. Reality loosens. 1. You arrive. At the bottom of these stairs, imagine a space designed entirely for you. Perhaps a garden, perhaps a temple, perhaps a chamber filled with books or light. Whatever form it takes, it is your inner sanctum. Here resistance fades. Here your subconscious is most receptive. This is where you plant your desires not in passing thought, but as seeds pressed directly into fertile soil. Archibald, a merchant tormented by anxiety, discovered this power when he paired breath with descent. He found that the deeper he went, the more easily he could release his worries and replace them with visions of prosperity. Within weeks, his trading decisions grew sharper, his doubts lighter, his fortunes brighter. He had learned to reprogram not from the surface, but from the depths. Each night you walk the staircase, you train your mind to descend into these deeper layers. The subconscious, patient and loyal, responds to repetition. With time, the journey becomes easier, the descent quicker, the sanctuary more vivid, and what you plant there grows with astonishing speed because it is deposited directly into the core of your being. This is not fantasy. It is neurological truth. The brain, in its twilight state between waking and sleep, is highly plastic, reshaping connections with ease. Visualization and emotion in this state carve new pathways that determine how you perceive and act in waking life. The staircase is not merely symbolic, it is functional. It leads you into the state where transformation occurs. Do not underestimate the subtlety of this practice. Each step may feel like imagination, but the effects accumulate. Reality bends first invisibly, then visibly, until the path you walk by day reflects the stairs you descended by night. Success ceases to be something chased. It becomes something cultivated in silence, nurtured in darkness, and unveiled in light. Tonight, do not simply drift into sleep. Walk the stairs, descend deliberately, plant seeds in the garden of your inner sanctum, and know that as you sleep, they are being watered by the deepest currents of your mind. Chapter 11. The Time Traveler's Sleep Chamber. Time is not the straight line you have been taught to believe. It bends, loops, folds, spirals. The sleeping mind knows this, even if the waking mind resists. In dreams, you leap decades in seconds, revisit childhood with perfect clarity, or glimpse futures that feel both inevitable and familiar. These are not illusions. They are evidence of time's true fluidity. The time traveler's sleep chamber is the practice of harnessing this fluidity, drawing wisdom from futures already lived and applying it to the present. Florence, a seamstress, discovered this when her dreams began introducing her to a radiant version of herself who lived with ease, abundance, and joy. Each night she would imagine walking through a shimmering doorway of light. Beyond it, her future self awaited, ready to share guidance. These encounters were not vague. They were practical, clear suggestions, new designs, shifts in perspective. When Florence followed them, opportunities emerged with uncanny precision. She realized she was not inventing these visions. She was visiting a timeline already unfolding. The subconscious naturally transcends linear time. It recalls memories from decades past with perfect vividness, but it also holds impressions from possible futures. Quantum physics supports this truth, hinting that all possibilities exist simultaneously in a vast field of potential. By entering sleep with intention, you can step into this field and seek the version of yourself who has already achieved what you desire. The practice is simple yet profound. As you prepare for sleep, close your eyes and visualize a corridor of golden light. At its end is a door glowing softly. Beyond it waits your future self, the one who has already manifested abundance, love, health, or wisdom. Walk through the door. See this self clearly. Notice their posture, their ease, their glow. Then ask 3 questions. What do I need to know now? What must I release? What step should I take? Do not strain for answers. Let them come as whispers, feelings, or symbols. Humphrey, a merchant burdened by uncertainty, used this method with diligence. Night after night, he asked his future self for guidance. He dreamed of market shifts, of strategies, of conversations that later played out in waking life. His present self grew confident, guided by the wisdom of a path already walked. Soon his ventures thrived. His peers marveled at his foresight, but he knew it was not foresight at all. It was dialogue across timelines. This is not fantasy, it is communication. Your future self is as real as your past self. Just as you can recall who you were 10 years ago, you can align with who you will be 10 years hence. In the subconscious chamber of sleep where time dissolves, the meeting is effortless. Tonight, as you drift toward dreams, build the doorway. Step through, meet yourself. Ask, listen, and awaken with the confidence of one already guided by the wisdom of the future. Chapter 12. The Celestial Council Chamber. You are never alone in sleep. Beyond the boundaries of your personal mind lies a vast field of shared wisdom, populated by guides, ancestors, and luminous beings who wait for your invitation. The Celestial Council Chamber is the practice of entering this field deliberately, seeking guidance from those who see further than you can. Cordelia, weary and uncertain, discovered this one night when she surrendered to silence before bed. As her breath slowed, she imagined herself ascending a spiral staircase of light. At its top, she found herself in a radiant chamber filled with beings who glowed with wisdom. They spoke not in words, but in impressions, gifting her clarity she had long sought. From that night she returned again and again, each visit bringing new guidance, comfort, and direction. The chamber is not imagination, it is a resonance. The sleeping mind vibrates at frequencies that allow connection to realms beyond physical form. Just as a radio tunes to stations hidden in static, your mind tunes to wisdom when it is quiet and open. The guides you meet may appear as loved ones, teachers, strangers, or even archetypal figures, but all share a single essence. They are fragments of universal intelligence, echoing what your soul most needs. Pearl, a man paralyzed by grief after his wife's passing, found this truth firsthand. Each night he whispered for her presence. One evening, as he crossed into sleep, he felt her near. In dreams, she guided him toward healing, offering insights that shifted his days. He awoke not only comforted but directed, his life gradually realigning with purpose. To enter the chamber, prepare with intention. As you lie in bed, imagine light spiraling upward. Follow it. At its summit, see a chamber of radiance. Enter with reverence. Ask your questions, not with demand, but with openness. Then listen. Guidance may arrive in dreams, in symbols, or in synchronicities the next day. Trust that your request has been heard. This practice is not escape, it is partnership. The universe does not wish you to wander lost. It has placed wisdom all around, waiting for your invitation. The Celestial Council Chamber is the space where that wisdom gathers, eager to serve you. Tonight, ascend the spiral. Enter the chamber. Share your heart. Receive what is offered. For in sleep, you are not alone. You are surrounded by allies, luminous and eternal, waiting to remind you of the path you came to walk. Chapter 13. The Memory Palace of Dreams. Your mind is not a loose collection of thoughts scattered like leaves in the wind. It is a vast architecture built of halls, rooms, and chambers where memory and imagination intertwine. The ancients called this architecture the Memory Palace, a structure you create within your mind, where symbols and visions can be stored, visited, and expanded. But when this palace is constructed in the twilight between waking and sleeping, it becomes more than memory. It becomes a blueprint of manifestation, a temple where your subconscious rehearses the future until reality itself follows. Gertrude, A teacher weary of routine discovered this by accident. One evening, as she lay between wakefulness and sleep, she imagined a grand hall filled with light. In that hall, she saw her students thriving, their faces glowing with understanding. Night after night she returned, adding detail, windows that opened to gardens, books that shimmered with knowledge, walls lined with symbols of wisdom. Soon her waking life began to reflect what she had rehearsed in her palace. Her students excelled, her lessons transformed, her own sense of purpose deepened. What she built in imagination became real. The memory palace functions because the subconscious confuses vivid imagery with lived experience. When you walk through imagined halls, touch imagined walls, and breathe imagined air, your brain encodes it as real. Neural pathways fire, behaviors shift, and the world bends to match the inner architecture. When you combine this ancient practice with the liminal state before sleep, you access a power unmatched by waking effort. To begin, close your eyes at night and imagine a doorway. This is the entrance to your palace. Step inside. At first, it may be simple, a single room, a corridor, but with each night, add detail. Build a hall for abundance, filled with golden symbols of prosperity. Construct a chamber for relationships, decorated with the warmth of connection. Create a sanctuary of health, vibrant with light and vitality. Let each space embody not what you hope for, but what you already live in spirit. Leopold, an architect who feared failure, practiced this faithfully. He built in his mind a mansion where models of his future projects stood on pedestals, where awards glittered on shelves, where clients waited eagerly. Night after night he walked these rooms until the details felt as real as daylight. Soon opportunities arrived. His commissions grew. His reputation blossomed. He had trained his subconscious to accept success as natural. The key is sensory detail. Do not merely see the room, smell the wood, feel the stone, hear the echoes of your footsteps. The more real it feels, the more your subconscious embraces it. Each night, wander your palace before sleep. Touch its walls. Speak your desires aloud in its chambers. Then drift into dreams, allowing your subconscious to continue exploring while you rest. With time, your palace becomes a living structure. Dreams will guide you to new rooms you did not plan. Symbols will appear unbidden. Each addition refines your blueprint. Your waking life will begin to mirror this design because the subconscious, once persuaded, organizes reality to match its architecture. The memory palace of dreams is not fantasy. It is rehearsal, and rehearsal becomes reality. Tonight, build your doorway. Step inside. Begin with one room. Fill it with symbols of your chosen life, and know that with every visit, you are laying foundations not only in imagination, but in the fabric of the world itself. Chapter 14. The Emotional Alchemy Laboratory. Your emotions are not accidents. They are energies, raw, potent, and transformative. Yet most people treat them as enemies or burdens, struggling to suppress grief, anger, fear, or shame. What they do not realize is that every emotion contains power, waiting to be transmuted. Just as alchemists once sought to transform lead into gold, you can transform your emotions into energy for creation. The Emotional Alchemy Laboratory is the sacred practice of this transmutation, performed most effectively in the twilight state of sleep. Penelope, a potter, once believed herself broken. Her business failed, her heart weighed heavy, her nights restless. Each evening she drowned in disappointment, telling herself stories of loss. But one night, instead of fleeing her sorrow, she decided to welcome it. She lay in silence and pictured her grief as glowing stones she could hold on her hands. She whispered to herself, "This, too, is power." Slowly, her grief softened into compassion, her disappointment into resolve. Soon, her pottery carried new beauty, infused with the wisdom of her transformation. The subconscious does not distinguish between positive and negative emotion. It recognizes only energy. When you carry unprocessed pain into sleep, your subconscious uses that energy against you, repeating patterns of scarcity and struggle. But when you acknowledge the pain, embrace it, and reframe it as raw material, you turn it into fuel. The very energy that once limited you becomes the force that propels you. The practice is deliberate. Before sleep, gather the emotions of your day. Close your eyes and name them. Anger, fear, sorrow, shame, even joy too heavy to hold. Visualize each as colored light or flowing liquid. See how dense emotions appear darker, heavier, then with breath and intention transform them. Picture anger dissolving into strength, grief into compassion, fear into courage, shame into wisdom. Watch the colors shift into golden light, radiant and pure. Reginald, a grieving merchant, mastered this practice. Night after night he held his sorrow as though it were precious, not poisonous. He whispered, "Transform." In time, his grief alchemized into empathy so profound that his presence healed those around him. His pain became power, his sorrow a doorway to wisdom. His life did not escape suffering, it transmuted it. The key is acceptance. You cannot transform what you reject. To enter the emotional alchemy laboratory, you must bring every part of yourself to the table. Nothing is wasted, nothing is excluded. Every feeling is raw or awaiting refinement. And when you practice this at the edge of sleep, the subconscious takes your intention and continues the process all night, weaving the golden energy into your dreams and your waking reality. Tonight, do not flee your emotions. Gather them. Hold them with reverence. Transform them with breath and vision. Enter sleep surrounded by the golden light of your own alchemy. And know that in the laboratory of your soul, every shadow becomes fuel for creation. Chapter 15. The Quantum Field Navigator. Reality is not fixed. It is a vast field of probabilities, shimmering with infinite possibilities. At every moment, countless timelines exist. Versions of you succeeding, failing, traveling, staying, loving, fearing. Most live unaware of this, locked into the narrow path of what seems inevitable. But the subconscious, freed during sleep, can roam this field, exploring alternate futures, tasting different possibilities, and choosing the one most aligned with your highest desire. To become a quantum field navigator is to harness this capacity deliberately. Oilia, a mystic, discovered this when she began meditating before bed. She saw in her mind a web of glowing threads, each representing a different life. One led to scarcity, another to abundance, another to solitude, another to love. Each night she reached for the thread that resonated most, imagining herself stepping into it as she drifted into dreams. Within weeks, her life shifted in ways that astonished her. She realized she had been selecting her reality from the quantum field. Science hints at this truth. Quantum mechanics reveals that particles exist in superposition, multiple states simultaneously, until observed. Consciousness collapses the wave into a single outcome. Your subconscious, especially in the twilight state before sleep, is an observer of extraordinary power. The field listens to your intention and bends toward it. The practice begins with imagination. As you lie in bed, close your eyes and picture yourself standing in a vast field of light, woven with countless threads stretching in every direction. Each thread is a possible timeline. Some shimmer brightly, others dim. Each vibrates with a frequency you can feel. Place your hand over your heart and ask, which thread resonates with my highest good? You will feel a pull. Step into that thread. As you do, imagine yourself merging with that reality. Let it surround you, infuse you, become your chosen path. Barnaby, a clockmaker at a crossroads, practiced this with devotion. Unsure whether to stay in in his small town or moved to the city, he entered the field each night. He walked the timeline of staying and felt stagnation. He walked the timeline of leaving and felt growth. The choice became clear. He moved and his life blossomed. He had navigated the field with precision. The key is clarity. You cannot wander aimlessly and expect results. The field responds to intention. Choose your desire, step into it, feel it fully, then release it to the subconscious to navigate while you sleep. Trust that in dreams you will travel the paths, refine your choice, and anchor yourself in the reality you selected. This practice is not escape, it is alignment. You are not inventing realities. You are choosing among those already present. Your subconscious, like a navigator at sea, reads the stars and sets your course. And when you awaken, you will find the world subtly altered, bent toward the path you chose in silence. Tonight, stand in the field. See the threads shimmer. Place your hand on your heart. Choose, step forward, sleep, and let your subconscious carry you across the infinite ocean of possibility toward the shore of your chosen life. Chapter 16, The Soul Symphony Conductor. The universe hums with frequencies, a vast orchestra playing ceaselessly, each vibration shaping the world you touch. Your body is no exception. It is not a silent vessel, but an instrument tuned to resonate with cosmic music. Every cell vibrates, every thought releases a frequency, every emotion contributes to the song you send into the field. And while most allow this song to play chaotically, discordant notes of fear, longing, and contradiction, you have the power to become conductor of your soul's symphony. When you take the podium, reality itself moves in harmony with your chosen score. Imogene, a monk hidden in a mountain monastery, uncovered this truth while studying ancient scrolls. They spoke of frequencies that aligned the mind with creation, tones that opened the subconscious to receive, vibrations that summoned abundance and healing. He began experimenting with sound before sleep, chanting single notes into the candlelit air, feeling them reverberate through bone and marrow. Soon his nights were no longer filled with scattered dreams, but with luminous visions, and his waking life shifted to reflect their brilliance. He understood that the secret was not in the note itself, but in the alignment of his being with the vibration he chose. Science now affirms what mystics always knew. Specific frequencies alter the brain. A tone at 432 Hz calms the nervous system, aligning body and mind with harmony. A frequency of 528 Hz, called the miracle tone, stimulates healing and transformation. Other solfeggio frequencies open channels of creativity, forgiveness, and release. When you expose yourself to these sounds at the threshold of sleep, you guide your subconscious to tune itself accordingly. Cornelius, a musician struggling to find success, made this discovery by necessity. Exhausted by years of frustration, he began composing music not for audiences, but for himself, aligning melodies with frequencies of love and abundance. Each night he played them softly as he drifted into sleep. Within months, his studio thrived, his health improved, and opportunities arrived unbidden. His symphony had shifted, the world had responded. To practice, you do not need instruments or technical knowledge. You need only intention. Begin with breath. As you lie in bed, hum gently, allowing the vibration to resonate in your chest. Feel it spread through your body, loosening resistance. Then, if you wish, play tones or gentle music aligned with your desire. Choose sounds that feel warm, expansive, luminous. As they play, imagine your body as an instrument being tuned, every cell vibrating in harmony with your chosen reality. The subconscious absorbs sound directly, without filter. While words may be doubted, tones are not. They slip past defenses, programming the inner self with ease. That is why lullabies calm children, why chants induce trance, why music moves emotions beyond logic. Sound is not metaphor, it is instruction. Tonight, conduct your symphony. Decide the frequency you wish to embody. Peace, love, abundance, vitality. Then breathe it, hum it, play it. Let the vibrations carry you into sleep. And as you dream, your subconscious will continue the concert, rewriting the score of your life in perfect harmony with your chosen song. Chapter 17, The Ancestral Wisdom Keeper. Your life did not begin with you. It is the latest verse in an ancient song carried through blood and memory, sung by generations before you ever breathed. Their triumphs and traumas live in your bones. Their patterns echo in your choices. Their stories whisper in your dreams. To ignore them is to walk blind. To acknowledge them is to awaken a river of strength. When you invite your ancestors into sleep, you access the ancestral wisdom keeper, the force that carries the lessons and powers of those who came before you. Winterfred, curious about her lineage, began asking questions before sleep. Who were the women in my blood? What did they endure? What gifts did they hide? That night she dreamed of her grandmother, a merchant who thrived against all odds. The dream was vivid, filled with details Winterfred later confirmed in family records. From that night, she carried her grandmother's resilience into her waking life, transforming her failing business into abundance. The wisdom she received was not invention, it was inheritance, unlocked by her willingness to listen. Ezekiel, born into poverty, felt his life chained by an invisible ceiling. No matter his effort, success eluded him. But when he began nightly rituals of ancestral connection, he dreamed of his great-grandfather, a master craftsman long forgotten. Through these encounters, Ezekiel not only received practical guidance, but also healed the wounds of scarcity that had haunted his lineage. As he embraced his ancestors' strength, his own limitations dissolved, and his life expanded beyond what he had thought possible. Science now affirms what mystics always taught. Trauma and resilience pass through generations, etched into the very fabric of DNA. Epigenetics reveals how experiences alter gene expression, carried forward like coded memories. When you enter sleep with intention, you open doors to these hidden archives, retrieving wisdom and releasing burdens. The practice begins with reverence. Before bed, create a small altar, perhaps a photograph, a keepsake, or even a simple candle. Place your hand over your heart and whisper, "Ancestors of my blood, I invite your wisdom. Guide me in dreams. Help me heal and grow as you drift into sleep. Visualize a golden cord stretching backward through time, connecting you to those who came before. Trust that guidance will come, perhaps in dreams, perhaps in sudden clarity upon waking. The subconscious, aligned with ancestral memory, is capable of astonishing transformation. Old fears melt. Hidden talents emerge. Patterns once unseen become visible and changeable. What you thought were personal struggles reveal themselves as inherited echoes, waiting for you to rewrite them. Tonight, remember, you are not alone. You are the living continuation of countless lives, countless choices, countless gifts. As you sleep, call upon the Wisdom Keeper. Let your ancestors speak. Their strength is already yours, waiting to be awakened. Chapter 18, The Crystal Cave of Consciousness. Throughout time, humanity has turned to sacred objects, stones, crystals, relics, not for superstition, but for resonance. These objects are not inert. They are instruments tuned by nature's patient hand. A crystal is a frozen song, a structure of vibration that interacts with your own. And when placed near the sleeping body, it amplifies intention, becoming an ally in shaping reality. The crystal cave of consciousness is the practice of programming your dreams with the frequencies of these sacred tools. Minerva, a healer, felt instinctively drawn to crystals. She began placing a quartz stone beside her pillow each night, whispering her intentions into it before sleep. Within weeks, her manifestations accelerated beyond anything she had known. Her desires seemed to unfold effortlessly, her dreams vivid with clarity. She realized the crystal had become more than decoration. It was a transmitter carrying her intentions into the quantum field while she rested. Thaddeus, struggling to find a home, followed similar guidance. He arranged a simple grid of crystals around his bed, amethyst at his head for spiritual clarity, rose quartz at his heart for love, citrine at his feet for abundance. Each night he placed his hands upon them and breathed his intentions. Within months, he found himself living in a home more aligned with his vision than he had ever dared imagine. His crystal cave had amplified his subconscious signal until reality answered. The secret lies in the unique molecular structure of crystals. Their symmetry and stability allow them to resonate with specific frequencies, amplifying energy like a tuning fork. Your subconscious, sensitive during sleep, aligns with these frequencies, strengthening the intentions you place within them. The practice is simple. Choose 1 to 3 crystals aligned with your current desires. Clear them by holding under water or smudging with smoke. Then hold each crystal in your hands, breathe slowly, and visualize your desire flowing from your heart into the stone. Speak it softly. You carry this intention. You broadcast it as I sleep. Place the crystals near your bed, perhaps under your pillow, or arranged in a grid. As you sleep, imagine the crystals glowing, their light expanding, carrying your desires into the dream field. Your subconscious receives their frequency, embedding your intention more deeply. In the morning, thank the crystals, acknowledging their role as allies. The crystal cave of consciousness is not about superstition. It is about resonance. You are an energetic being in constant dialogue with the universe. Crystals are amplifiers in this dialogue, steadying and strengthening the signal of your desires. Tonight, create your cave. Choose your stones. Whisper into them. Sleep in their glow. And know that as you dream, your intentions are being broadcast into the vast field of creation, strengthened by the Earth's oldest instruments. Chapter 19. The Parallel Life Explorer. At night, when your body surrenders and the gates of logic relax, another truth emerges. You are not singular. You are multitudes. For every choice you have ever made, there exists another you who chose differently. Somewhere you did not move to the city, but stayed in your childhood home. Somewhere you married another, started another career, walked another road. These versions are not imagination. They exist in the vast quantum web of possibility. The subconscious knows this, and in sleep, it travels these corridors freely. To become a parallel life explorer is to walk these hallways with awareness and to bring back the wisdom of alternate selves. Josephine first stumbled into this gift. Each night, as she hovered between wakefulness and sleep, she saw mirrors stretching in all directions. Within them were reflections of herself living other lives, some radiant with success, some heavy with struggle, some astonishingly ordinary. At first, she thought it fantasy, but one night she stepped through a mirror into the life of the Josephine who had already published her novel. She felt the paper between her fingers, smelled the ink, heard the applause. The next morning, she awoke with a chapter fully formed in her mind. Weeks later, her manuscript was complete. She realized she had borrowed momentum from a version of herself who already lived her dream. Barnabas, a weary craftsman facing financial collapse, discovered the same truth. In his dreams, he met himself in parallel lives where failure had been overcome. One self had built thriving markets in distant lands. Another had shifted into teaching. Another had turned his skill into artistry. Each encounter gave Barnabas new insight, courage, and creativity. His waking decisions carried the imprint of their wisdom. Within months, he rebuilt his enterprise, guided not only by his own mind, but by the chorus of his other selves. The practice begins with intention. Before sleep, Whisper softly, "Show me the life where my desire is already fulfilled." Visualize a hall of mirrors, each glowing with a different possibility. Walk calmly until one reflection calls to you. Do not force it. The right version will shimmer with recognition, as though it knows you. Step into the mirror. Feel the sensations of that life, the surroundings, the confidence, the success. Allow yourself to merge with that self, to absorb their knowledge. Then surrender to dream. Upon waking, write what you recall. The wisdom may arrive as images, words, or simply a sense of certainty. Trust it. These impressions are not fantasy. They are fragments of real timelines accessed by your subconscious. The key is humility. You are not stealing from these other selves. You are collaborating. Each version of you longs to expand. When you integrate their lessons, you strengthen them too. The boundaries between selves are porous, and growth in one thread enriches the whole. The Parallel Life Explorer is not about escape into better lives. It is about integration, gathering wisdom from the vast web of who you already are. Tonight, step into the Hall of Mirrors. Choose the reflection that shines brightest. Walk into it. Feel its reality. And know that when you awaken, you will carry its gifts into this life, weaving alternate strands of possibility into the fabric of your days. Chapter 20. The Sacred Script. Writer. Your subconscious adores stories. It does not respond well to abstract logic or detached instructions. It responds to narrative, to the rhythm of beginning, middle, and end, to characters, settings, and emotion. This is why myths endure, why novels shape lives, why childhood tales echo through adulthood. Stories are the operating system of the human mind. To become a sacred script writer is to harness this truth, crafting detailed stories of your desired life and feeding them to your subconscious in the twilight before sleep. Prudence, a quiet woman in a cottage on the hills, discovered this by instinct. She began writing in a leather journal each night, not about her day, but about the life she wished to live. She wrote in present tense, as if it were already true. I rise in the morning to sunlight filling my studio. My art sells to collectors who feel its joy. My heart is full. Night after night she read these passages aloud before bed, letting the words sink into her being. Soon her waking life shifted to match the script. Collectors did appear, her art did flourish. Her story, once only ink on paper, became the architecture of her reality. Phineas, a merchant at a crossroads, did the same. He wrote several versions of his future, experimenting with different paths. In one story, he expanded his shop. In another, he traveled abroad. In another, he became a mentor to younger merchants. Each night, he read a chosen version aloud, and the following days began to move toward the storyline he had chosen. He realized that he was not simply writing, he was programming his subconscious with narrative blueprints. The practice is simple but profound. Each evening, take a journal reserved only for this purpose. Write in detail the story of your life as you desire it. Use present tense. I am, I feel, I live. Describe the textures, the colors, the emotions. Let the story unfold naturally, not as bullet points, but as lived scenes. Then, before sleep, read your script aloud slowly, savoring every word. Your subconscious does not distinguish between vividly imagined stories and reality. The emotions you feel as you read anchor the script into your nervous system. Over time, the subconscious begins to treat the narrative as truth, aligning your behavior, perceptions, and opportunities with it. This is why careless storytelling, complaints, pessimism, self-deprecating humor creates cycles of struggle. The subconscious listens to every tale you tell, whether serious or playful. By choosing your stories consciously, you reclaim authorship. The sacred script writer is not about wishful thinking. It is about deliberate narrative construction, told with such detail and conviction that the subconscious accepts it as fact. And once it accepts, reality bends to match. Tonight, begin your script. Write one page of your ideal day as though it already exists. Read it softly before sleep. Feel it. Believe it. Then let your subconscious carry the tale into dream, rehearsing it until life itself has no choice but to follow the script. Chapter 21. The Dream Detective's Investigation. Your dreams are not nonsense. They are encrypted letters from your subconscious, written in the language of symbol, metaphor, and feeling. Too often they are dismissed as meaningless or random, but to the trained mind, they reveal extraordinary truths about your inner programming, your progress, and the adjustments needed for manifestation. To become a dream detective is to investigate these nightly messages, decoding them into guidance for your waking life. Constance, a seeker weary of confusion, began keeping a journal at her bedside. Each morning she recorded every detail of her dreams, the colors, the faces, the landscapes, the emotions. At first the entries felt scattered, but as weeks passed, patterns emerged. She noticed that when her manifestation energy was strong, her dreams filled with blooming flowers, rising suns, expanding buildings. When doubt crept in, she dreamed of locked doors or endless hallways. She realized her subconscious was showing her the state of her alignment. Bartholomew, a craftsman, did the same. He discovered that certain recurring symbols, bridges, compasses, mountains, appeared whenever he was close to breakthrough. By studying them, he gained confidence that his desires were indeed unfolding, even when waking life seemed unchanged. His dreams became a map, guiding him through the unseen phases of creation. The practice requires patience. Before sleep, set the intention, I will remember my dreams. I will receive guidance. Place a journal and pen beside your bed. Upon waking, record immediately before memory fades. Do not judge the details, however strange. Write them all, the hues, the feelings, the fragments of dialogue. Over time, decode the symbols. Water often represents emotion, bridges symbolize transitions, locked doors reveal resistance, flights indicate freedom. Yet remember that your subconscious speaks uniquely to you. A symbol that means growth for one may mean fear for another. Trust your intuition. The key is consistency. The more you record, the clearer the patterns. Your subconscious learns that you are listening, and its messages become sharper, more direct. Soon your dreams will not only reflect your state, but also offer solutions, showing you where to adjust, what to release, how to refine your practice. The dream detective is not merely a recorder of dreams, but an interpreter, a translator of the subconscious. Each morning becomes an investigation, each dream a clue. And with every decoded message, you align more closely with your desires. Tonight, place a journal by your bed. Invite guidance. Dream with intention. And when you awaken, record with care, for in your dreams lies a coded map, waiting for you to read it, leading you step by step toward the reality you are shaping in silence. Chapter 22. The Manifestation Mathematician. The ancients knew that beneath the chaos of life lies order. They saw spirals in seashells, hexagons in honeycombs, symmetry in flowers, and proportion in the stars. They recognized that the same geometry repeating in galaxies also whispered itself into the architecture of the human mind. This was not accident. It was a language, the mathematics of creation. When you learn to use this language in the twilight of sleep, you become the manifestation mathematician, aligning your desires with the fundamental patterns through which reality unfolds. Adelaide discovered this truth by accident. One summer evening, she found herself tracing the pattern of a spiral carved into an ancient stone. She felt a hum in her fingertips, a resonance that lingered even as she closed her eyes to sleep. That night, she dreamed vividly of her desires spiraling outward, expanding, blooming in harmony with the natural world. When she awoke, she knew she had tapped into something profound. Manifestation accelerated when framed in universal patterns. The golden ratio, the Fibonacci sequence, the symmetry of triangles, circles, and squares, these are not abstractions. They are blueprints embedded in the fabric of reality. The subconscious, always attuned to symbolism and rhythm, responds powerfully to these forms. When you visualize your desires within these patterns, you bypass resistance and anchor them into the deepest structures of being. Maximilian, a humble carpenter, began experimenting with numbers before sleep. He grouped his intentions in 3s, 5s, and 8s, numbers resonant with universal law. He visualized them arranged in spirals, triangles, and mandalas. Over time, he noticed his desires manifesting with uncanny precision. His work gained recognition, his finances stabilized, his relationships harmonized. He realized he was not imposing his will on the universe. He was harmonizing with it. To practice, begin by choosing a single intention. As you close your eyes, visualize it placed within a triangle of light, each side representing thought, feeling, and manifestation. See the triangle glowing, your desire resting safely within it. Then expand it outward, encircled by a perfect circle of infinite potential. Imagine this circle spinning, pulsing, carrying your intention outward like a ripple on water. Feel the resonance, the stability of form, the certainty that comes from alignment with mathematics older than stars. Another method is the spiral. Place your desire at the center of a golden spiral radiating outward. Watch it expand naturally, each curve representing growth, each loop reinforcing stability. Allow yourself to be carried along the spiral as though already living the reality you wish. The subconscious, seeing this pattern, accepts it as inevitable, for nature itself recognizes the spiral as the rhythm of expansion. Dreams often echo these shapes. Pay attention to circles, squares, or fractals that appear in your sleep. They are the subconscious confirming your alignment. Each form carries meaning, and the more you practice, the clearer their guidance becomes. The manifestation mathematician is not a sterile engineer, but a poet of form, using numbers and shapes as sacred symbols. You need not understand equations or formulas. You need only feel the harmony of structure, the stability of rhythm, the beauty of order. By weaving your desires into these patterns before sleep, you call upon the architecture of the universe itself to amplify them. Tonight, as you lie in stillness, place your desires into form. A spiral, a triangle, a circle. Let them rest within geometry's embrace. Fall asleep knowing that your subconscious, fluent in the language of pattern, will carry them into the quantum blueprint where all creation begins. Chapter 23. The Collective Consciousness Connector. Your mind is not a closed chamber. It is a thread in a vast tapestry woven together with countless others across time and space. Each night when you sleep, the walls that seem to separate you from others dissolve. You drift into the ocean of collective consciousness, merging with the thoughts, dreams, and wisdom of humanity. Most float without awareness, carried by waves they do not direct. But the collective consciousness connector learns to engage this ocean deliberately, both receiving its wisdom and contributing to its evolution. Tabitha was a teacher in a mountain village. Each night she prayed for guidance for her struggling students. One evening, as she surrendered to sleep, she experienced something extraordinary. Her awareness expanded beyond her body, beyond her home, until she felt herself immersed in a network of light. Countless souls connected, thinking, dreaming, creating together. In that luminous web, she found ideas flowing into her mind with ease. The next day, she introduced a new teaching method that transformed her classroom. She realized she had not invented it. It had come through her from the collective mind. Montgomery, a city planner overwhelmed by complex projects, discovered this truth as well. Frustrated, he began entering sleep with the intention, "Show me solutions through humanity's wisdom." That night he dreamed of bridges, plazas, and streets designed with uncanny elegance. Upon waking, he sketched them and later discovered that similar designs had been pioneered in distant cultures. His subconscious had tapped into the collective archive, retrieving what others had already imagined and perfected. The practice begins with expansion. Before sleep, close your eyes and imagine your consciousness as a radiant light. See it extending outward, connecting with countless other lights in an infinite web. Whisper softly, "I connect with the wisdom of all." Then pose a clear question or intention. How may I heal? How may I create? How may I serve? Release the question into the web, trusting that answers will flow back in dreams, intuitions, or synchronicities. You will begin to notice symbols in your dreams that feel larger than yourself. Faces you do not know, languages you have never studied, designs you have never seen. Do not dismiss them. They are the collective whispering. Record them, study them, let them guide you. The key to this practice is reciprocity. As you receive, you also contribute. Each intention of love, each vision of abundance, each affirmation of peace ripples through the web, strengthening humanity's shared field. Your personal growth becomes collective growth, and what you give returns multiplied. The collective consciousness connector is not about losing yourself in the crowd, but about remembering you are both wave and ocean. In the depths of sleep, you can touch the wisdom of countless lives and offer your own light in return. Tonight, expand, connect, contribute, ask for guidance, then drift into sleep, trusting that you are not dreaming alone, but with all of humanity, shaping together the great unfolding of reality. Chapter 24, The Reality Revision Workshop. Your past is not stone, it is clay, soft, malleable, responsive to the meanings you assign. Most people live shackled to memories as though they were permanent, repeating old patterns because they believe what has been must always govern what will be. But your subconscious, especially in sleep, treats memory as fluid. It accepts revisions and responds as though they were truth. In the Reality Revision Workshop, you enter this fertile space before sleep and rewrite the stories that have bound you, freeing yourself to step into new realities. Evangeline, haunted by her father's absence at her childhood recital, carried wounds of neglect for decades. Each night the memory returned, shaping her relationships with disappointment. But when she discovered revision, she tried something different. As she drifted into sleep, she replayed the memory, only this time she imagined her father in the audience, smiling proudly. She felt the joy of his presence, the warmth of acceptance. Night after night she repeated this revised version until her subconscious accepted it. Soon her waking life shifted. Her relationship with her father softened, and her sense of self-worth blossomed. Horatio, a merchant ruined by a failed venture, once saw himself forever marked by shame. But through revision, he replayed the moment of collapse, reframing it not as failure, but as initiation. He imagined himself standing strong, saying, "This is the lesson that births my future wealth." He carried this vision into sleep until it replaced the old memory. Within months, he rebuilt his fortunes. His past had not changed, but the meaning he assigned had, and his subconscious led him into a different future. The practice is delicate but powerful. Choose a memory that carries pain, disappointment, or limitation. As you lie in bed, bring the scene to mind. Do not avoid it. See it clearly. Then, with gentleness, begin to change it. Add understanding, compassion, or success. Imagine the words you needed to hear being spoken. Imagine the outcome unfolding differently. Feel the new emotions deeply: relief, joy, empowerment. Then drift into sleep carrying this revision. The subconscious accepts what is repeated, regardless of whether it happened in waking life. Over time, it rewires the neural pathways associated with the memory. The old emotional charge dissolves, replaced by new strength. The result is not denial of the past, but transformation of its influence. The Reality Revision Workshop is not fantasy. It is reclamation. You cannot change what occurred, but you can change how it lives in you. And because the subconscious organizes reality according to the patterns it holds, altering memory alters the future. Tonight, enter your workshop. Choose one memory, revise it with love. Sleep with the new story cradled in your heart, and know that when you awaken, you will step into a reality shaped not by wounds, but by wisdom, not by pain, but by possibility. Chapter 25. The Gratitude Amplification Chamber. Gratitude is more than polite acknowledgement. It is a frequency, a resonance so powerful, it alters the very structure of your subconscious. To give thanks is to recognize abundance, and recognition is a magnet. The moment you feel genuine gratitude, you cannot also feel lack. The two states are incompatible. Gratitude draws, lack repels. And when gratitude is carried into sleep, it does more than shift mood. It amplifies manifestation, creating a chamber where the energy of thankfulness multiplies through the night. Cordella, who had practiced countless techniques, discovered this almost by accident. Tired of striving, she decided one evening simply to list 3 blessings from her day. They were modest: the warmth of sun on her face, a neighbor's smile, the comfort of her bed. As she repeated them softly before sleep, something shifted. Her body relaxed, her mind glowed with ease. In the following weeks, she noticed more reasons to give thanks arriving unbidden: unexpected opportunities, kindness from strangers, financial blessings. She realized gratitude had become her amplifier. Algernon's story proves the same truth. For years, he suffered from depression, unable to see light in his days. His therapist encouraged him to practice one small ritual. Before bed, name a single thing he appreciated, however minor. At first, it was mechanical. I am thankful for this glass of water. Yet, as nights passed, his mind began to seek gratitude during the day, so it would have something to record at night. Slowly, his focus shifted. He felt lighter, noticed more beauty, received more joy. Gratitude did not erase his struggles, but it transformed the lens through which he experienced them. The subconscious magnifies what you feed it in the moments before sleep. If you drift off dwelling on worries, it rehearses fear. If you fall asleep angry, it replays conflict. But if you surrender to gratitude, the subconscious spends the night multiplying that frequency. Dreams shimmer with appreciation, and waking life begins to reflect it. Gratitude acts as both compass and catalyst, guiding you toward abundance and accelerating its arrival. The practice is simple yet profound. Each night before sleep, close your eyes and bring to mind 3 specific blessings from your day. Do not recite them mechanically. Feel them. Relive them. If it was a conversation, hear the words again. If it was sunlight, imagine its warmth on your skin. If it was a meal, savor the taste once more. Let the gratitude expand in your chest until it fills your body. Then, after your gratitudes, offer 3 future-focused appreciations, spoken as if already real. I am thankful for the success flowing toward me. I am thankful for the love surrounding me. I am thankful for the opportunities arriving tomorrow. The subconscious accepts these future gratitudes as truth, merging them with the present. It cannot distinguish between gratitude for what has happened and gratitude for what is imagined. Both are treated as reality. By framing future desires in the language of thankfulness, you bypass resistance. The subconscious assumes they are already yours and organizes your reality accordingly. The Gratitude Amplification Chamber is not about pretending everything is perfect. It is about acknowledging what is good, however small, and allowing that recognition to expand. Even in dark times, gratitude is possible. Breath, heartbeat, the chance to try again. And from even the smallest seed, abundance grows. Tonight, before surrendering to dreams, step into the chamber. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and name 3 blessings. Let each one echo in your heart like a bell. Then thank the future as if it has already unfolded. Drift into sleep within this chamber of appreciation, knowing that gratitude multiplies itself, reshaping your reality even as you rest. Chapter 26, The Infinite Possibility Portal. Limitation is an illusion. It is a story the mind tells to protect itself, to make the vastness of life manageable. Yet beyond that story lies a truth that the subconscious knows well. Reality is infinite and possibility unbounded. The infinite possibility portal is the doorway through which you step into this truth, dissolving the boundaries of what you believe possible and opening yourself to the vast field where all outcomes exist. Serafina, a woman in a mountain village, lived most of her life confined by circumstance. She believed herself small, her future narrow, but one evening as she prepared for sleep, she whispered a simple intention: "Show me what else is possible." That night she dreamed of herself walking through a great archway of light. Beyond it she saw countless versions of her life, some grand, some strange, some radiant with joy. She awoke shaken but awakened. From that night she began to expand her choices, daring to imagine more. Opportunities soon appeared where she had once seen none. Octavius, a fisherman, discovered the same. Each night as he lay in his modest bed, he imagined his consciousness expanding beyond his body, beyond his room, beyond the horizon. He felt himself merge with the stars, the oceans, the infinite. In this state, he asked to see the possibilities hidden from his ordinary view. His dreams became voyages, carrying him through realities of wealth, travel, and success. Within months, his small fishing boat had become a fleet. His world expanded not because he forced it, but because he allowed the infinite to reveal itself. The subconscious thrives on boundaries when awake. It follows routines, repeats patterns, reinforces safety. But in sleep, the boundaries soften. The subconscious becomes pliable, receptive to expansion. If you enter sleep with limitation, it rehearses limitation. But if you enter sleep with openness, it rehearses infinity. The portal is always present, waiting for your consent to step through. The practice begins with release. Before sleep, whisper, "I let go of all I think I know." Then, with eyes closed, imagine a great doorway of light before you. See it shimmering with endless potential. Step through. As you do, feel your consciousness expand. Imagine yourself rising above your body, above the earth, into a field of infinite possibility. Here, every desire is real, every dream exists, every path awaits. Do not force visions, allow them to come. Perhaps you will see yourself in another life, living abundance. Perhaps you will feel the joy of love fulfilled. Perhaps you will sense futures brighter than anything you imagined. Receive them. Know they are possible. Let your subconscious absorb the infinite as normal, as natural, as available. This practice is not about choosing immediately. It is about expanding your sense of possibility. The more you expose your subconscious to infinity, the less it clings to limitation. Soon, in waking life, you will find yourself acting with greater courage, seeing opportunities where before you saw walls. The portal reshapes perception, and perception shapes reality. Tonight, step into the infinite possibility portal. Release what you think you know. Walk through the doorway of light. Allow yourself to feel the vastness, then drift into sleep, carrying the frequency of infinity into your dreams. And know that tomorrow your world will be larger, your choices greater, your reality freer than ever before. Chapter 27, The Energy Signature Designer. Every being carries an energy signature, a unique vibration that announces itself before words, before actions, before thought. This signature draws or repels, attracts or deflects, creates harmony or discord. Most people allow their signature to be shaped unconsciously, a product of mood, habit, and inherited patterns. But when you learn to design your energy signature deliberately, you take control of what you attract. The energy signature designer is the practice of tuning your vibration before sleep so that reality echoes your chosen frequency. Magnolia, a woman of quiet strength, first noticed this truth when people often remarked that her presence felt soothing, though she had said nothing. She realized her energy spoke louder than words. Determined to shape it consciously, she began each night by visualizing herself radiating golden light, the vibration of joy and abundance. As she drifted into sleep, she repeated softly, "I embody success. I embody love. I embody peace." Within months, her waking life reflected her new frequency. She drew opportunities, relationships, and blessings without effort. Ferdinand, a struggling musician, applied the same principle differently. Each night he imagined himself on stage, feeling the applause, the exhilaration of performance. He let that vibration saturate his being until it became his signature. Soon he noticed others responding to him differently, drawn to his confidence and creativity. His career blossomed not because he forced it, but because his energy signature had shifted to one of success. Your subconscious broadcasts your energy signature constantly. It is not the words you speak or even the thoughts you think. It is the frequency beneath them. When you enter sleep, you have a unique opportunity to redesign this frequency, because in that state, your subconscious is highly receptive. What you feel as you drift off becomes the template for your vibration. The practice is straightforward but requires sincerity. Before sleep, sit or lie comfortably. Place your hand on your heart. Ask yourself, what energy do I wish to embody? Abundance, love, health, creativity? Choose one. Then visualize it as golden light radiating from your heart, expanding through your entire body until you are immersed in it. Feel it, not as something you wish for, but as something you are. A whisper affirmation. I am abundance. I am love. I am vitality. Let the words soak into the light, then surrender to sleep, carrying the frequency with you. The subconscious will rehearse this signature all night, embedding it as your natural state. In time, your energy will shift. People will respond differently. Opportunities will magnetize to you. The world will reflect your vibration because resonance attracts resonance. Designing your signature is not a one-time act, but a nightly ritual. With consistency, you become a living broadcast of your chosen frequency. And once your signature is tuned, reality cannot help but respond in harmony. Tonight, become the designer. Choose your energy, radiate it, sleep within it, awaken carrying it into the day, and watch as the universe bends to mirror the song your soul now sings. Chapter 28. The Synchronicity Orchestrator. When intention is planted in fertile soil, the universe does not always deliver with thunder. More often, it speaks in whispers, arranging coincidences so precise they cannot be dismissed as chance. A phrase overheard at the exact moment you needed it, a book falling open to a page that answers your question, a stranger repeating words you dreamt only the night before. These are not accidents, they are synchronicities, the golden threads woven between your inner state and the fabric of reality. To become the synchronicity orchestrator is to learn how to invite, recognize, and amplify these threads until life itself becomes a symphony of perfect timing. Clementine, a quiet dreamer in a mountain town, practiced nightly intentions before sleep. She whispered desires for clarity, for direction, for proof that she was aligned. In the mornings that followed, her world began to shimmer. Street signs reflected her exact thoughts, conversations echoed her whispered intentions, and chance encounters revealed pathways forward. She realized she had activated a hidden system. Her subconscious, tuned during sleep, was orchestrating her waking world, arranging events with exquisite precision. Gideon, a wandering artist, discovered this truth when he began requesting specific signs before bed. One evening he whispered, "Show me a blue butterfly if I am on the right path." The next day a stranger passed him wearing a shirt patterned with butterflies, and another handed him a flyer adorned with a single blue one. His request had been answered, not once but twice, leaving no room for doubt. Encouraged, he asked for more signs, each one arriving with uncanny timing. His confidence grew, and with it his life aligned effortlessly. The subconscious, when primed before sleep, acts as a tuning fork. It filters waking reality, drawing attention to what aligns with your inner state. Synchronicities are not created from nothing. They are revealed by your readiness to notice them. They are evidence of alignment, confirmation that your desires are weaving themselves into form. The more you acknowledge them, the more they multiply, until life itself becomes a dialogue with the universe. To practice, begin with clarity. Before sleep, whisper your intention. Show me confirmation. Be specific if you wish. A symbol, a phrase, a number. Release it into the night. As you sleep, your subconscious prepares itself, attuning your awareness to notice the answer. In the morning, move through your day with openness. Do not force, do not hunt. Trust that the sign will appear, and when it does, honor it. Pause, breathe, give thanks. By acknowledging synchronicities, you amplify them. The universe, like any partner, responds to recognition with eagerness to give more. The synchronicity orchestrator is not manipulating reality, but collaborating with it. You are co-authoring with a field that longs to guide you. When you ask for signs, you demonstrate trust. When you notice them, you confirm alignment. When you follow them, you step into flow, and flow is the state where miracles unfold naturally, without struggle. Tonight, as you prepare for sleep, choose a symbol, a feather, a number, a word. Whisper your request softly, as if speaking to the night itself. Then release. Tomorrow, watch the world unfold. The sign will appear, perhaps subtly, perhaps boldly, and when it does, smile with recognition, for you have orchestrated synchronicity. Life itself is listening, and it longs to speak back. Chapter 29, The Master Key Holder. At some point, the seeker realizes that techniques, symbols, and rituals are all doors. Useful, beautiful, sacred, but still doors. Behind them lies a deeper truth, one so simple and vast it dissolves every method. You are the source. You are the dreamer. You are the master key. To become the master key holder is to step beyond the tools, beyond the rituals, into the direct recognition that consciousness itself is creation. Wilhelmina discovered this during a season of exhaustion. She had practiced countless rituals, filled journals with affirmations, aligned herself with cycles and symbols. Yet she felt restless, as if she were always reaching but never arriving. One night, as she lay between waking and sleep, a realization struck with quiet force. All along, she was not a seeker of power, but the source of it. She saw herself as vast awareness, within which all dreams unfolded. Her desires were not requests to an outside universe, but choices within her own infinite being. From that night forward, everything changed. She stopped striving. She began simply choosing, and reality bent with ease, as if relieved she had remembered her authority. Ignatius, a merchant plagued by worry, experienced the same awakening. In his twilight meditations, he sensed that just as he was the consciousness in which dreams appeared, he was also the consciousness in which his waking life unfolded. The line between dream and reality dissolved. He realized he did not need to beg the world for success. He needed only to choose the experience and allow it to express. His fortunes transformed, his relationships deepened, and synchronicities bloomed. The shift was not in ritual but in recognition. The subconscious, when directed with techniques, is powerful, but when aligned with the direct truth of your limitless nature, it becomes unstoppable. The master key is not a method, but a knowing. You are not separate from creation. You are creation. Every ritual you have learned, breath, gratitude, visualization, was a way to remind you of this. Now you hold the key itself. To practice this, enter sleep not with requests, but with recognition. Whisper, "I am the dreamer. I choose my dream." Then, instead of imagining rituals or symbols, simply rest in awareness of your vastness. Feel yourself as the field in which all possibilities already exist. Choose one gently, like selecting a dream to enter. Let yourself drift into sleep, carrying this recognition. The master key holder does not strive to open doors. Doors dissolve in their presence. Reality responds instantly to the certainty of being the source. And when you remember this truth, every night becomes effortless creation, every dream a reminder of your boundless authorship. Tonight, as you surrender to sleep, let go of tools, let go of striving, whisper the simple truth, "I am the dreamer," and step into the life you choose, knowing the key was never lost, only forgotten. Chapter 30. The Awakened Dreamer's Graduation. There comes a moment when all the fragments gather. Every technique, every ritual, every whisper into the night merges into one seamless flow. You no longer see practices as separate. Gratitude here, breath there, geometry in another place. They weave into a single fabric, unified by the thread of your awareness. This is the graduation of the awakened dreamer, the threshold where practice becomes mastery, and mastery becomes natural living. Praphani knew this moment well. At first, she practiced each method with diligence. Mirror work, crystal grids, ancestral calls, dream inquiries. Her nights were ceremonies, her mornings filled with symbols. But over time, she noticed the borders dissolving. Gratitude flowed into visualization. Breath carried her into ancestral dreams. Geometry merged with lucid exploration. She realized she was no longer practicing separate techniques, but living a unified state of creation. She had graduated from seeker to master dreamer. Cornelius, the musician who once tuned his life with sound, experienced the same. At first, he treated each practice as a tool, but as his awareness deepened, he no longer distinguished between them. His nightly ritual became simple, surrendering to sleep with intention, trust, and openness. The practices had done their work. They had trained him to speak the language of consciousness fluently. Now he needed no translation. Graduation is not an end, but a beginning. To live as an awakened dreamer is to carry the wisdom of sleep into every waking moment. You realize that life itself is a dream, shaped by the same subconscious forces you trained in the night. Day and night merge. Sleep and wakefulness become one continuous field of creation. You breathe gratitude without effort. Speak intentions naturally. Notice synchronicities with ease. You are not trying to manifest. You are manifesting effortlessly because you live as the dreamer, aware of the dream. To step into this graduation, approach sleep not as ritual, but as ceremony. Create a simple rhythm that reflects your essence. Perhaps one night you write, another you whisper, another you simply breathe. Allow intuition to guide. Trust that your subconscious, now fluent in the language of creation, needs only your intention, not elaborate instruction. The awakened dreamer carries a profound responsibility. With mastery comes power, and with power comes the call to use it with love. Your creations ripple into the collective field, shaping not only your reality, but the reality of others. Graduation means recognizing this and choosing wisely, creating with compassion, weaving dreams that uplift not only you, but all who share the field. Tonight, as you close your eyes, honor the path you have walked. Remember the seeds planted in gratitude, the visions rehearsed, the symbols whispered, the ancestors called. They have brought you here. Now step forward. You are the awakened dreamer, the one who knows that sleep is not escape but creation, that dreams are not fantasy but blueprint, that you are not a seeker but a master. And when you awaken, carry this truth into your day. Life itself is your dream. Shape it well, shape it with love, shape it knowing you have graduated into the fullness of who you are. Chapter 31. The Eternal Mirror of Sleep. Each night, when you close your eyes, you enter the mirror, not the mirror of glass and reflection, but the eternal mirror, the vast surface where your inner world and outer reality gaze at one another. Whatever image you hold most consistently within is what the mirror shows you in life. Sleep is the polishing of this mirror. Each thought before slumber is a brushstroke across its surface, each emotion a dye that tints the reflection. To master the eternal mirror of sleep is to consciously craft what the mirror shows back to you. Elowen, a healer burdened by self-doubt, found her nights restless. Her mind replayed failures, criticisms, missed opportunities. When she woke, her life mirrored her nights. Patients doubted her, friends overlooked her, prosperity seemed to slip through her fingers. One evening, exhausted, she whispered a new question: what reflection do I choose? That night she imagined herself not as fragile but radiant, her hands glowing with healing power. She gazed into her dream mirror and saw confidence staring back. Weeks later, she noticed her patients responding with trust, her work thriving. The eternal mirror had shifted, and her life followed. The subconscious accepts whatever you show it in those last moments before sleep. If you present it with images of fear, failure, or scarcity, it reflects them faithfully. If you show it love, abundance, and strength, it reflects those instead. The mirror does not judge, it only responds. The key is not to deny your pain, but to polish the mirror by offering it the image of who you are becoming, not who you fear you are. To practice, each night sit in silence before sleep. Close your eyes and imagine a vast mirror before you. In its reflection, see the life you choose. Not someday, but now. See yourself already abundant, already healed, already loved. Notice the details, the glow of your skin, the laughter in your eyes, the symbols of success surrounding you. Hold the image gently, with breath, until you feel it sink beneath thought into certainty. Then drift into sleep with that reflection as your last vision. The eternal mirror of sleep transforms because the subconscious does not distinguish between actual reflection and imagined one. Both are accepted as truth, and reality shapes itself to match. Over time, you will notice subtle shifts, people treating you differently, opportunities aligning, synchronicities multiplying. These are the ripples of the new reflection. Remember, the mirror is constant. Every night it waits. The question is, what will you show it? Tonight, choose wisely. Gaze into the eternal mirror and offer it the image of your truest self. Sleep with that reflection, and life will return it to you tenfold. Chapter 32. The Silence Between Worlds. In every piece of music, it is not only the notes that matter, but the spaces between them. Without silence, sound is noise. Without stillness, movement has no meaning. The same is true of your life and your sleep. Between waking and dreaming lies a silence, a pause where the worlds touch. Most rush past it, desperate for slumber or distracted by thought. But those who linger in this silence discover it as a doorway, a place of pure creation where intention carries the greatest power. Seraphil, a poet haunted by noise, found peace here. She lay awake each night, her mind loud with thoughts, her heart restless with longing. Then she began seeking silence, not by suppressing thought, but by resting between them. She noticed the gaps between her breaths, the stillness after an exhale before the next inhale. Slowly, she sank into those spaces. There, she discovered a quiet that was not emptiness, but fullness, alive with possibility. When she placed her intentions into that silence, they took root with speed. Her poems deepened, her life softened, synchronicities multiplied. Silence is not absence. It is presence unburdened by words. The subconscious hears it clearly, for silence is its native tongue. When you enter sleep carrying silence, you bypass the chatter of doubt and resistance. Your desires slip directly into the fertile soil of the unconscious, unopposed. To practice, begin by listening. Lie still in bed, breathing deeply. Notice the sounds around you, then the spaces between them. Notice your thoughts, then the gaps between thoughts. Sink into those gaps. Do not try to hold them. Simply allow yourself to rest there. Once you feel the stillness, whisper your intention not aloud, but silently within, as though dropping a pebble into a still pond. Watch the ripples expand, then surrender to sleep. The silence between worlds is powerful because it is uncluttered. Words can be argued with, thoughts can be doubted, but silence cannot be resisted. It carries intention straight to the core. The universe listens most intently in these pauses, just as a listener leans forward in the quiet between notes. Practice this nightly, and you will begin to crave the silence. It will become a sanctuary, a place where you meet yourself, your dreams, and the infinite. Your waking life will reflect it too. Moments of calm amidst chaos, clarity in decision, grace in action. Silence will follow you, reshaping not only your nights, but your days. Tonight, seek the gap. Breathe into it. Rest there. Place your desire in the stillness, and let sleep carry it. For the silence between worlds is not empty. It is where all creation begins. Chapter 33. The Dawn of Limitless Creation. There comes a moment in the journey when you realize you are no longer practicing rituals, but living them. Gratitude is not an exercise. It is breath. Visualization is not a task. It is sight. Intention is not effort. It is your natural state. This moment is the dawn of limitless creation, when you recognize that reality bends not because of what you do at night, but because of who you have become. Aurora felt this shift after years of discipline. She had built memory palaces, whispered wishes, aligned with lunar phases, invoked ancestors. She honored every practice with reverence. But one morning she woke with clarity. She was not applying techniques anymore. She was living as a creator. The rituals had merged into her being. She no longer wondered if her desires would manifest. She knew they already existed, unfolding naturally. That day, her life blossomed without strain. Opportunities aligned, relationships deepened, abundance flowed. She had crossed the threshold. The dawn of limitless creation is not an ending, but a birth. It is the moment you stop asking and start knowing. You stop waiting and start living. Sleep is still sacred, but not as ritual. It is communion. Every night you rest not as a seeker, but as a creator resting in their own dream, knowing tomorrow will unfold according to your essence. To step into this dawn, you need not abandon practice. Rather, allow it to dissolve into you. Gratitude becomes your constant lens. Silence becomes your resting state. Symbols and synchronicities no longer surprise you. They delight you as reminders of the flow you already live in. You stop treating manifestation as a process and embrace it as your nature. The subconscious, trained through nights of practice, now responds instantly. You think and life adjusts. You feel and opportunities align. You whisper and the universe echoes back. Not because you commanded it, but because you are it. The dreamer and the dream have merged. This is the true graduation, not a certificate, not a final step, but the awakening into your original state of power. You are consciousness shaping itself. You are infinity expressing in form. You are the author of the story. the painter of the canvas, the dreamer of the dream. To live in the dawn of limitless creation is to move through life with quiet certainty. You no longer wonder if you are worthy, if you are capable, if you are supported. You know. Each night you rest in this knowing. Each day you live from it. And the more you live this way, the more the world reflects it. Abundance, love, peace flowing effortlessly. Tonight, as you surrender to sleep, whisper not with striving, but with certainty, I am the Creator. Let those words sink into your being, not as wish, but as truth. Drift into dreams not to seek, but to celebrate. And when dawn comes, rise into a world already shaped by your limitless nature. This is the dawn. This is your graduation into power. This is the truth that was waiting all along. You are the dreamer, the dream, and the dawn of creation itself. Chapter 34, The River of Perpetual Becoming. Every night you enter a current. It carries you beyond the shores of your daily self, sweeping you into realms where thought dissolves and imagination rules. Most drift unconsciously, tossed by memories and stray images, but those who step into the river with awareness discover something astonishing. It is the river of perpetual becoming. This current does not merely wash away the remnants of the day, it carries seeds forward, shaping the landscapes you will awaken into. Ilara, a seamstress burdened by regret, used to see sleep as escape. She would collapse into bed, her mind heavy with guilt for lost opportunities. But her nights were restless, her mornings unchanged. Then she learned the river's secret. Instead of collapsing, she began to prepare. Each night she whispered, I release what has been, I embrace what is forming. She imagined herself stepping into a flowing stream of light. In that current she placed her intentions, joy, abundance, peace. Night after night she surrendered them to the river, trusting it to carry them forward. Within months her life transformed. Her mornings no longer felt like repetition, but renewal, each day a continuation of the becoming she seeded the night before. The subconscious is the boat you ride upon this river. Its course is shaped not by chance, but by what you release into it. If you pour bitterness and worry, you drift into more of the same. If you place gratitude and vision, the current amplifies them, weaving them into tomorrow. The river remembers everything you feed it. It multiplies what you surrender. To practice, pause before sleep. Imagine a luminous river flowing just beyond your bed, its waters shimmering with starlight. See yourself stepping into it, the cool flow surrounding you. With each exhale, release fragments of the day, fears, disappointments, mistakes, letting them dissolve in the water. With each inhale, place intentions into the current. Whisper them if you wish. I am love. I am abundance. I am peace. Feel the current carrying them downstream, knowing they will arrive in the landscapes of your waking life. Dreams often mirror this process. You may find yourself walking along rivers, crossing bridges, floating on currents. These are not random images, but signals that your subconscious is navigating the stream of becoming. Pay attention. The water's color, flow, and mood reveal the quality of what you have placed within it. If the river feels heavy or dark, you are still feeding it resistance. If it flows clear and bright, you are aligned with possibility. The river of perpetual becoming is endless. You step into it each night, and it shapes each dawn. With practice, you will no longer see sleep as escape, but as passage. Each night, a sacred crossing where you release what no longer serves and place what you long to live. The river carries both faithfully. Tonight, approach the edge with reverence. Step into the water, release your burdens, plant your visions. Let the river carry them. And when you awaken, notice how the landscapes of your life begin to mirror the flow you entered. For you are not static. You are becoming. And the river waits to carry you always into the self you choose. Chapter 35, The Crown of Infinite Radiance. At the heart of every practice lies a single truth. You are light. Not metaphorical, not symbolic, literal. Every cell emits photons, every thought radiates energy, every feeling glows within the field that surrounds you. Most dim this light with fear, doubt, and self-judgment, living as though they are shadows. But within you is a crown waiting to be worn. When you claim it, you become luminous, broadcasting your essence so strongly that the world cannot help but respond. This is the crown of infinite radiance, the state where you no longer seek power but embody it. Magnus, a weary traveler, discovered this crown in the depths of despair. His fortunes had failed, his health waned, his spirit fractured. One night he dreamed of standing in darkness, head bowed. Then from above a crown of light descended, resting upon his head. It did not feel heavy but expansive, as though the universe itself had chosen him. When he awoke, the vision lingered. Each night thereafter he imagined placing that crown upon himself before sleep. Slowly his posture changed, his voice deepened, his presence grew magnetic. Opportunities flowed to him not because he asked, but because he radiated. The subconscious responds powerfully to symbols of sovereignty. A crown is not merely decoration. It represents authority, alignment, and worth. When you place such an image upon yourself at the threshold of sleep, you are instructing your subconscious to carry that identity into dreams and into waking life. You cease to see yourself as small or powerless. You begin to move, think, and act as one who wears light. The practice is sacred but simple. As you lie in bed, close your eyes and imagine a crown of radiant light above your head. See it descending slowly, resting gently on your crown chakra. Feel its warmth spreading through your body, illuminating every cell. Whisper softly, "I am radiant. I am infinite. I am crowned in light." Let this sensation saturate you until sleep carries it deeper. The subconscious will rehearse this identity throughout the night, weaving it into your dreams. You may find yourself walking taller in visions, speaking with authority, commanding respect. These are signals that the crown is taking root. In waking life, others will notice too. They will respond to your presence as though you carry unseen majesty. And you do. The crown of infinite radiance is not about arrogance. It is not the claim of superiority, but the recognition of essence. Every being has this crown. To wear it is to remember, not to boast. When you embody radiance, you uplift others simply by being. Your light gives permission for theirs to shine. Your abundance multiplies the field of abundance. Your joy ripples outward, awakening joy in those who encounter you. This practice also dissolves fear. When you see yourself crowned, doubt loses its grip. Worry cannot diminish one clothed in light. Obstacles may appear, but you face them with authority, knowing your radiance is greater than any shadow. Tonight, place the crown upon your head. Feel its infinite glow. Sleep within it. Dream with it. Awaken carrying it, and notice how the world responds to your presence, not as to one who begs, but to one who embodies. For the truth is simple. You were born crowned. The light was always yours. The only question is whether you will remember to wear it. And when you do, you will walk not as seeker, but as sovereign, radiating so brightly that reality itself bends to your brilliance.